All right, guys, welcome back. BDTR Wednesday Night Live. And boy, it has been a fun week so far with all the dumb shit going on. Actually, it's terrible. Some of the stuff we've learned about Altoona pred hunters and the way Paul likes to do business. And I mean, if you just think about it, he's been getting what, like multiple catches a day. And like, I don't even watch, I don't actually watch any of the videos. People usually send me clips of them and stuff. And I know he called me out the other day because, Robert Rahmer was the second person I harassed in Tyrone. Well, I don't even want to say second because there's probably more than that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they didn't harass him at 10 o'clock, though. I will give you that. You guys, it was like 5:30 or something, right? But allegedly, according to a family member, Paul did identify himself as law enforcement when he was questioned by the family. And they kind of pushed back and were like, well, where's your fucking badge? And Paul's like, well, I'm on the payroll or something like that. So, I don't know. I mean, kind of sounds like something Paul would say, that like we posted that video the other day. Or was that earlier today? I don't know. This whole week's kind of blending together. But
Yeah.
so, but it's like, because everybody kept telling me, oh, Paul's saying he's carrying in these videos or whatever. And the way it's on the page, you just have to listen. It's worded so weird because, like, first they're talking about, I guess, less than lethal, whatever, probably like, pepper spray and hopefully not a taser. My God. Although we do know Crazy Chris is definitely taser qualified when it comes to animals.
Apparently.
But the way they word it, it's like, we carry less than lethal, whatever, and we're carrying now. So I don't know if it was either they slipped up, Paul admitting that he's carrying, or if they were trying to get us to like jump on. Oh, they said they're. Oh no, we never said we're carrying a gun. It's this because they play these fucking games. All right, and speaking of games.
Oh, Lord.
I got Chris Ann fucking good. All right. I got her so good. And this dumb bitch is still going off about it. So I'm going to pull it up here. Let me get back to. It's only disadvantage of doing this live. It's like you're trying to do everything once. Okay. So screen capture. All right, guys. So I'm sure if you have been anywhere near Crazy's page, you've seen that allegedly there was a video posted. Now, keep in mind, we do not condone anyone going to anyone's house and harassing them, all right? Now, if you see them out in public, give them the middle finger, that's fine. Don't go to their house and harass them,
No.
okay? That's just dumb. So, I guess this girl, Isabel, was at Crazy's house for some reason. I still don't understand why.
No.
So, and somebody had made a comment about something, so I took a screenshot and posted it. And Crazy makes this, that's audio and this and da 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 da. And let's be honest, like the Pennsylvania Wiretapping Act, #1, is super abused. It's ridiculous. It's way too vague. And really all it benefits is liars. Because in Pennsylvania, you have to have two people consent to record, generally audio, but when we're talking about a phone conversation. And I've literally seen instances where somebody will lie through their teeth on the phone and you can't do anything about it. And I also think it's interesting how Chris keeps bitching about, they're in West Virginia, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? Guess what West Virginia is? Among many other things better than PA, it's a one-party consent state. So I don't know how the hell you would even begin to charge me under the PA statutes when I'm not in PA. I mean, it's not rocket science here. Now, maybe you can find some federal law or whatever, but I don't think there's another wiretapping law.
Not only that, it was you didn't take the video, and then you didn't post a video. Like,
No.
Go ahead and finish up with what you're showing here.
It's literally a screen, it's a screenshot. You can't click on it. And just for the record, because I know Crazy Chris can't read, but that says 48 down there, and I think she said it said 43, which I think that would be the amount of time left on the video. So the video wasn't 43 seconds. It would have been longer than that because it's a little bit in progression there. So by the way, like just in general, Crazy Chris, like just shut the fuck up. Like you're an idiot, okay?
Yeah.
And then and the best part is, so she puts all this shit out because we posted about Paul's felony, we posted about the Staley guy, and I guess he currently has involuntary manslaughter charges.
Yeah.
So I mean, these guys are just like, what in the fuck is even going on here? And then we come to find out, I didn't pull it up, but if you go on the page, there's one of the, I'm probably going to butcher this name, Sahoni. It was the one that happened at 10 o'clock at night in Tyrone. And basically, from what the family's saying, everything Paul said was bullshit.
Shocker.
And if you look at the amount of these catches and shit that they're getting, like, there's no way it's legit. Okay, it's not possible.
If it was that easy, Mike, why the hell would it not already be like settled by now? Because it's not that easy. Because he's like you just said, they're not legit actual catches. They're not doing the process right, and they're probably making half this shit up anyways.
Well, and here's the interesting thing too. So Paul made his video where he called me out on my fat tire, which is hilarious. Which, if I was being serious, yeah, I would have been wrong. I got the two. I basically merged them into one. I guess I was trying to give him credit, be like, Paul, you were only a piece of shit one time, but it was actually twice. So sorry, bro. I tried to help you out there. But anyway, everything else, he won't affirm that he's a Marine on video. He'll never say, I'm a United States Marine. I've never seen him say it. I've never seen him comment it. Never. Never. You know what, Paul? Even if you don't want to call in, just make a Facebook post. Say, I was in the United States Marine Corps from such and such time to such and such time. Give yourself a little bit of credibility that maybe you served. Why won't you do that? Are you not proud to be a Marine? I mean, seriously. And then some of the other questions, he addresses the vest. And what was the other thing?
I don't remember because it was
I
such
can't.
bullshit that I didn't care to listen.
It was
the whole way
shit that
through.
no one cares about. No one. But that's what they do. They deflect on this dumb shit, and they just ignore the glaring things.
And they tangent about something irrelevant just long enough to see, oh, look how long this video is. Oh, they're still watching. Oh, yay.
Yeah, and how in the hell is fake press going to go after Shelley like he did?
Yeah.
Like a freaking rabbit, rabid raccoon. Like a rabid raccoon. But is he calling out this Staley guy? I don't know, because he blocked me. And that was the whole reason I did the satire video, because we had an agreement that we were going to do this interview at 5 o'clock. Now, I don't know if Paul was originally, I was under the impression that it was basically going to be, like, he was going to be an intermediary, press was, and then we were going to have a debate between me and Paul. I don't know if that was, for whatever reason, that's the impression I was under. I might have been wrong about that. But then he goes live, like, what, 2 o'clock?
I think it
1:30, 2 o'clock, something. Oh, call in now. I can change the times whenever I want. Well, I got news for you, motherfucker. Like, my parents came to visit, okay? And then we had stuff to get done around the house anyhow. So, yeah, I'm not taking out family time to play your little dick games. If you want to have a conversation, have a conversation.
And then it gets better because, oh, well, he didn't call in. You blocked the page. You never told him that you changed the time, and then you blocked it because I commented on it. And I was like, well, how the hell is he supposed to even know? He's like, well, being blocked doesn't stop him from calling in. I was like, well, yeah, it stops him from knowing that it happened, though.
Yeah,
so that's kind of convoluted. And then, of course, he informs me, well, no, I blocked him, and now I'm blocking you. Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can do whatever you want, but if you want to be... Man. I mean, and in all fairness, like, I get it. His show's a little different than this one. And I don't see how it wouldn't be healthy for both shows to have a little bit of a rivalry. That's fine. But, like, if that's how you're going to do it. And yeah. I think I did catch him a little off guard when I caught it, which I will say, before he blocked me, I put in the comments, I said, well, since you can change it, I can change it too. So now we're doing it at 7 o'clock.
Yep.
And that was about 4:30, I think. So
yeah, because we were in the middle of making dinner.
Yeah. 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 So I'm out there making like my dad even complimented me on how good the steaks were. So Randy, if you think I'm taking time to miss those steaks to call into your fucking shit show, you're wrong. No. Sorry, buddy.
No, the steaks were beautiful. Steak, asparagus, rice, potato.
Yeah, and it was like
really good.
Because we did actually move some furniture, and like it's always hot as hell. It's like I think it was like almost 100 degrees today.
Well, it was muggy. It's muggy down here, especially because we have the creek and we do have the one big river right there in town.
Yeah,
it gets muggy. Can't help it. You're near water.
Yeah, but it's just this this Pred Hunter stuff, and this is like honestly right now, guys, I don't know if I can continue to support the Pred Hunter group thing as a whole as long as Paul's still doing it, because once they pass that law, he's just gonna go fucking hog wild, and he's gonna drag a bunch of people into shit.
And it's going to ruin what the actual good groups are
Yeah.
doing. And I think they are worried about that. We all should be worried about that.
Well, and if he keeps this up, one of two things is going to happen. And I'm not tooting my own horn here, but I have a history of being able to call this shit. Because whenever I was going after Pete Weeks for the way they run the CI program, I said, you know what? One of these days, one of these CIs is going to get their fucking head blown off. Lo and behold, it happens a half a block from my house.
Yeah.
And that's the John Stiver case. We've talked about that quite a bit. And I do believe that was self-defense. But nevertheless, because of that bullshit way they do drug buys.
Yep.
He asked his mother. He wasn't even involved. He was basically playing Uber, and he got caught in the middle of it. Ended up having to shoot somebody. So I'm telling you, if Paul keeps this shit up, because they just had that one from, was that Mifflin or Bedford? I don't know. It was another one at night. You can hardly see anything.
Shock.
And they're there. And that's when they mentioned about we're carrying whatever that's supposed to mean. I don't know. I don't fucking speak retard.
No.
But,
No. And before y'all even jump us on the word, I'm going to take a second real quick on the word retard. If y'all get offended by that word, I understand. But take a minute out of your day. Look up on YouTube Christopher Titus and his skit about the word retard, because he does a really good synopsis and explaining it. Long story short, basically, they are not retarded. They have physical or mental disabilities that they have overcome and worked around. They're advanced. So if you, with all of your functioning limbs and body, like head space and everything, can't keep up with that, you're retarded. So, sorry, to continue, because I don't want people jumping us in the comment section about that, because I've had it happen 1,000 times, and no.
Well, that and retard is technically
a
technical term. So
Yeah.
I've been a mechanic long enough I can use it. So
Yeah, I'm not even a mechanic by any means, but I even knew that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but so back to the point is, if Paul keeps this shit up, one of two things is going to happen. Either him, and it's probably not going to be him, it's probably going to be one of his people, are going to end up getting shot. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Mark my words. Because I'm surprised it hasn't happened already.
Showing up at places in the middle of the night, especially the way the world is right now, that's never a good idea.
No.
No.
No, it's either going to be him or one of his people with him. And that's the problem, is a lot of these people have no idea who this guy is. And you can tell, once again, he doesn't give a shit about who's in the group. He doesn't do any background check. Unless it's Shelly, then you know Shelly's a fucking piece of shit. Because and even when we did that post about the George Wachter, I think it Wachter, whatever it was, because and shout out to who clued me in on that, because I knew about the bike incident where they stole his bike when they had their little motorcycle club. The Dick Latker. God damn it, Devin. All right, I'm going to finish what I was saying, and I'll get to that. So, and I just lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
But with, all right, so we'll go to Dick Latker then. I have not, and actually, you know what? That was a good thing to bring up, because talking about things I predicted. So Richard Latker is, I'm not going to say that he doesn't do some good, because he does. He's just probably the most narcissist, like even beyond Paul. You just have to meet the guy. The way I can describe his personality is like when you pet a dog the wrong way and like the fur goes, does the thing. That's basically his personality. So I had a falling out with him and Chris Creek whenever Amy Webster ran the first time, and they spent all that money on what was it, 85,000. Well, here's the thing. So they ran it like a presidential election. So they had this PAC or super PAC, and I think the money went through a couple different PACs. I have, I think, 3 different articles about this on the Allegheny Gazette WordPress page, which is where the Paul DeVeglia files are going to end up too. So look out for those probably in the next day or two. Probably won't get to finish it tonight, but so check that out. But anyway, these 3 articles, and I basically predicted, because I got some really good information, I filed a right to know to find out that Amy Webster had tried to tax exempt her house as a church, because I guess she's like some kind of pastor. I don't know if she like got a certificate online. Like, I'm not bashing that. What I'm bashing is she's a freaking tax attorney. She filed this. It got denied because it basically wasn't legal to do that. So she amended it. It got denied again. So I had some serious reservations. I don't have anything against Amy as a person. I just think it was a show of her competence just wasn't there. And then you have Latker and Creek. I'm not even sure how it was legal because they were kind of behind. I don't know who all was giving money. I get that people were upset. You know, you can't just donate. Like, if you don't donate to the boys club, then you might get shunned or whatever. So I get the idea behind it. They wanted people to be able to donate freely without facing some kind of blowback. Because, you know, oh, you donated to Amy instead of Bruce Erb or whatever. And you know, because let's just say Bruce was the establishment candidate, and he basically was, okay? So they have this PAC that's funneling all this money. But the thing is, if it's independent, if the candidate and the PAC are independent, then they don't they shouldn't be hanging out together at every fucking event, which they were. And then I found out they spent $85,000, I believe. And that was just the PAC. But you guys can double check this because it's all in the articles. The right to know's there. Everything's there. Crazy Chris is going to go data mine and trying to see how much information she can get on me from the right to know that I filed. I'm sure that's fine. Stand in awe of my accomplishments. But the point being, like, I really just had an issue. Like, I didn't like the tax thing, and I said something to Chris Creek about it, and he's like, well, you know, it's not a big deal. So that's kind of what kicked it off because I'm like, all right, fine. We're picking sides. Here we go. And things got really nasty to the point that I know somebody actually had to get down to Hollidaysburg Police Department, talk to them because Latker was like trying to press freaking charges because they got exposed for what they were doing. and I know they actually put a stay, fucking Jeff Friday, who should have lost his job years ago for beating the shit out of that guy at the Tom Dickey party, but he didn't. He was the one, he put a stay on my WordPress page because they were investigating for whatever. And I'm like, really? You're going to, like, I'm not fucking deleting it. There's nothing illegal. There's nothing wrong with what I wrote. It's the truth. Mm-hmm. You know, do something about it. So then they just kind of went away. And it was funny, especially this time, because, you know, the Latker Creek group is totally against Amy Webster this last election, and she still won. So it's like, you know, sometimes you plant a seed and it just keeps growing. Yep. So, but yeah, to answer the Latker thing, I haven't really heard anything about him lately. I'm sure he's involved in I don't know. Has anybody else heard? Is Blair? Because I know Huntington is going to, because I talked to Barger and he said he wasn't interested in doing a write-in campaign. I know Huntington definitely is. Kurt McConaughey. I hope I said his name right.
I think it's McConaughey.
McConaughey.
Sorry.
You guys know I'm fucking terrible with names. It's nothing personal. Yeah, he's actually running a write-in because both Barger and him, they lost by like less than 30 votes. So, and that's really disheartening to somebody like me who's really been trying to, you know, over the years, pushing different candidates, you know, don't keep picking the same people and doing the same thing and expect anything to change, obviously. But the turnout is especially on the off-year elections when it's not a presidential election, it's terrible. Terrible. And I tell everybody, it's like you get 20 to 30% of registered voters. And I think most counties, specifically Blair, I think there's about a third of the county isn't even registered to vote. So that is a very, very small sample size. So when you get, you know, the Bruce Erbs or the, let's say, John Eichelbergers or whatever, it's like, because he was a county commissioner at one point. Some of you probably remember that. He was the one that kind of started Blair County down the shitter. But, I mean, it's probably always been bad, but he just made it worse. Instead of fixing the problems, he just kicked the can down the road. But when you have these people that they kind of know everybody and nobody goes to vote, if all their friends go and vote, that they basically win. When you have elections getting decided by not even a couple thousand votes, I mean, but I'm going to hopefully have somebody on, because I know you guys hate George because, oh, he's old and he talks like he's old, whatever. I love George. George is a great guy.
George is wonderful. He's a wealth of information.
I had a 3-hour conversation with George about stuff going on over in Huntington the other night. And I I'm hoping we can have somebody on to talk about the write-in stuff in Huntington, because this is really important. And I really don't like that reader guy. I don't know how he's just another one. He's kind of a bullshits about Marcus in there. God damn it, Scott, do the write-in. Do it. But yeah, so it's like, the moral of the story is, like, I understand in a presidential election people saying, oh, my vote doesn't really count, and electoral college and this and that. And I
But
understand.
thousands of people think like that, and that's when it does suddenly count.
Well, but in local elections, all you need is like 10 people to think like that, and
Exactly.
that changes everything. So
Exactly.
I think Huntington can absolutely do the writing, because George has done a great job with his page, calling out reader, just like how we went after.
We love you, George. We really do.
He has done a great job, because I actually met him when got to know him when the Ted Simpson stuff was going on. And honestly, you know what? Let's just address that, even though I probably said it 1,000 times before, since Crazy Chris is out there. Oh, West Virginia. Okay, obviously, you guys know him from Blair County. I've lived there most of my life, other than when I was in the Air Force. And we had our reasons for, number one, that was back when we had a baby on the way, and we ended up having a miscarriage. So we were planning on, we needed a bigger house. Okay, we're gonna have another kid. The fucking car alarm terrorist shit was going on. So we're like, all right,
Yeah.
because that was when because I never cared what happened to me, but I'm like, if they're gonna start fucking with my family, then it's time to get out. That enough's enough. And you don't believe me, go back and look, because I started the podcast in and this is the audio only one that you can get on like Spotify and iHeartRadio and stuff. I started that because I'm terrible with. I still think 1990 was like 10 years ago. I'm going to say I believe it was in the fall of 2021 is when I started. Yeah, because we came down here 2022. So yeah, it would have been the fall of 2021. My last episode was the one I did with Deb, where we bashed the shit out of Pete Weeks, because I had the hearing for the car alarm terrorist thing, the preliminary hearing for that. And yeah, that's kind of my style. If you got to go up in front of a judge, you find all the dirt on him, throw it on Facebook, bash Pete Weeks for his drug war failing for the last 15 years, whatever. That's what I did. And you'll notice there's a hell of a gap. I don't believe there's any shows between would have been April of 2022 into almost June of 2023, because I think we did the TED thing in very end of May, or no, it would have been the end of April. So almost exactly a year gap, because I said, you know what, we're leaving. I'm getting out of it, whatever. I don't really care. It's not my problem anymore.
And if y'all go back, I never once was on any of the audio only podcasts. I'm usually sitting in the living room while he's doing that, trying to keep the dog from like chewing her tail off and making too much noise. I had nothing to do with it. Then magically, after a year, we get this, what we assume is a meme, that Ted Simpson's running for Huntington County Commissioner. We get a good laugh out of it. And then we're told that's serious.
Oh, it was better than that. So this guy, the hell's his Bruce Pert. I call him Bruce Purgatory. All right. So I butcher names anyway, but I do this one intentionally. So he posted, and now anybody that knows Ted Simpson, and if you don't believe this shit about this guy, we have the podcast, we go through everything. And the way I set it up is I have all the stuff we reference, the lawsuits, everything. It's on the WordPress page. So you can literally open that, turn the podcast on, and follow along with exactly what we're talking about. You would not believe the shit this guy's gotten away with. And somehow, well, it's not somehow, his dad had a lot of money and a lot of pull around here for years. But yeah, so Bruce Purgatory posts this, Ted Simpson has a clean background from PSP, and it's a supposed background with no charges or convictions or anything on it. And if anybody wants to try and call him out, we'll call you out. And I just thought, you know what? Fuck it. I'm in. Like that pissed me off so much, because I thought, here we go. And those guys, I don't know how much involvement they had with being like skinheads or whatever, but that's always been the rumor. So I'm like, these fuckers still think they can just bully everybody. And Ted ended up getting, I think, 6.5% of the vote. So he wasn't even close. Like the chick that like strangled her daughter allegedly, or what, I don't fucking know what happened with that, but she got arrested right before the the election, and Ted like barely edged her out.
Yeah.
So and that's why I put the Darth Vader choking meme of when you find out Ted Simpson gets more votes than you, because it was funny. But so
People
yeah.
can't take a joke.
So here's the thing, guys. All right, I have a feeling, even if George, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, even if George didn't have his page and I didn't do the podcast I did, I still don't think Ted would have gotten elected, because I still think so many people just knew who he was because he's been doing his shit for so long, right? But I think we definitely made an impact. Like, he probably would have had more than 6.5% if it hadn't been for the page and for the Huntington page, not the corruption page. But it just goes to show that when you have, and I see a lot of parallels between him and Paul. It's the same shit. It's always, when you get called out on something, you ignore that and deflect with something else. Just like when things were really heating up with Ted and there were a lot of questions, and Ted apparently tried to claim that he was in the Navy, or he
did. He tried to claim.
Well,
we
no,
have video.
no.
We have the video of where he said he was in the Navy.
He said he went to MEPS. He went to MEPS, and then he found out he had cancer at MEPS.
Yeah.
That's what he said. So
I would love to know how did he get the extra testing?
no, the video. So this guy, they have like this Zoom call. It was a Zoom call debate, I guess you could call it. The local debates are just not always interesting because they ask like softball questions and shit. But anyway, so they asked him like, "Oh, what's your experience? What do you do?" "Well, I'm a constable," and somehow he did get elected constable. That is true. No idea how, but it is true. But he goes on to say about how he represented, and if you don't believe me, the video is still on the corruption page somewhere. He says he represented Sunoco and brought like 400 jobs to Huntington County. And I'm thinking, what the fuck does that even mean? Like, how did you, what did you represent?
Yeah.
I don't know what that, but I think he thought the small amount of people that were watching that weren't going to really pick up on it, and nobody was really going to watch the whole thing. So that's why I took the little clip out, put it on the page, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, it makes no sense. Like, what the hell's he saying?" But that's just how these kind of people are. I kind of get that kind of vibe from Chris Ann too. Like they can do no wrong. I mean, she's doubled down on stupid with Paul. How long? If George wants to call in, use the other number, because this phone doesn't work very well with the mixer.
You're gonna have to put it up, I think, on the screens. I wasn't ignoring you, George. I was just trying to let him finish his bit there. Yeah, that's another good point. When Paul pretended to be an EMT and got caught up on the mountain.
Well, and here's what's interesting about Paul too, because a lot of times when we're trying to put stuff out on the page, you won't see anybody in authority, so to speak, like back it up. They watch, but I think it was the fire chief from Friendship Fire Company got in there and was like, "Yeah, he tried to sign up with false credentials."
Which honestly, I used to live in that in the area of the Roaring Spring Friendship Fire. Is that the one that you're referring to?
Yes.
Roaring Spring?
Yeah, it's the Roaring Spring.
Okay, I was going to say, because I always heard them refer to that. I lived out there for a while, and I specifically remember the one time the fire hall was right next to me practically, and the alarm sounded, and next thing I knew, I happened to be on the front porch, the neighbor across the street was running, the neighbor across the street to the left was running, and the next thing I know, here another guy comes peeling out in a truck down the road, and then out comes his kid, I assume, pulling his boots on. They are fast as hell. They are dedicated. They're good. I have a lot of respect for them because they take it very, very seriously. You can tell. And from what I was told, when a lot of other fire hall, I don't know correct terminology. Please don't rake me over the coals in the comments. When other companies don't respond or can't respond, they usually try to go out of their way to respond to stuff if there is help needed. So shout out to them.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing, is that's a pretty tight-knit community out there. Yeah. And I think, so when somebody like Paul goes out there, everybody, I think, starts asking questions pretty quick.
I knew when I moved in, every neighbor, gave me maybe 2 days, and then, one by one, were on my step, "Howdy, neighbor, who are you? Where'd you come from? What's up?" I was like, "Hi."
That's why I had zero interest between the taxes for Spring Cove School District and the way the people are. I was like, nope.
And that house was just kind of weird in general that I had out there. Like it had potential, but like the longer I was there, the one bathroom was killing me. That was just, and that house made weird noises at night, like really really weird noises at night. Like it spooked me. There was a couple times where I was in the living room and I could have swore somebody was coming down the stairs, and it's like me and my kid asleep in the other room, and I'm like, no.
Well, and the problem is too, you're still right in town. So it's like
Yeah.
you got all these neighbors around here constantly worrying about what you're doing. You know, I mean, I can look out my back door now, and when summer's here, you can't even hardly see the neighbor's house.
No. And we met them briefly after being here for like a month, and it just was because I happened to be in the back section of the yard looking around, and they were like, "Hi, we keep to ourselves. But if you ever actually need anything, don't be afraid to come over. We don't bite, but we keep to ourselves." That was the like one of two interactions since we've moved down here. I love them so much. They keep to themselves.
Well, and just to address Devin's comment there about all the volunteer departments dwindling,
Yeah.
I think part of the problem it's twofold. So number one, a lot of people have to work two jobs, just to pay the bills. So you don't have time to do that. And not only that, because I know I looked into it before, and like the amount of training and stuff, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but like there is an insane amount of like hundreds of hours of training you have to do before you can even really respond to a fire and do more than sell raffle tickets and stuff. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of people just don't have the time, don't have the availability, which is unfortunate because, the volunteer fire stuff is a lot of communities, that's all they have. I mean, I think in Blair County, that's city of Altoona is it. I think that's the only actual like government funded fire department.
Devin agreed. And I agree with you, shitty. 100%. And if I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry, but I'm giving it my best shot.
Well, and that's the thing. So, in my original argument against Paul was always he just doesn't want to do stuff by the book. And I think it's just because he's lazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the whole thing. Kylie and I were talking about that earlier. Like, it's just all she wanted him to do was, hey, do
File the proper paperwork to do this correctly.
Exactly.
Here's how you do it. She sounded like that she would have done it for him if he just gave her the information, but still, even that was too hard.
And that's the thing is so especially right now, and even if that law gets passed, these groups, the burden of proof is always on the prosecution. Now, I know sometimes things go a little weird when you're actually in court. It doesn't kind of seems like you have to just defend yourself, but especially because that's the thing. When you have, and not that I agree with it, but if you have a case where you have a cop testifying, I did this, 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 and this, they said this, 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 and this, most juries are going to look at that. Okay, if you just have Joe Schmo in there that runs a pred hunter group, cops can lie and get away with it all the time. If the jury thinks anything you say is dishonest, they're probably going to be done with it. And that's the thing, too, is when you're making these, and this is why I don't understand, no matter how much of a piece of shit you are, how are you going to accuse these people of being child predators when your evidence is next to nothing?
That's a very, very serious accusation to make, especially without a good foundation of truth behind it.
Yeah.
You say that once, completely false, and enough people hear it and believe it, and it doesn't get corrected. Even if it does get corrected, all it takes is for that to spread for a second, and suddenly that person's entire reputation is destroyed over some bullshit.
Well, and we were talking, and actually I just remember I didn't make my second point. If Paul keeps doing this, either one of him or somebody else involved with him is going to get shot, or somebody they confront's going to go and take the room temperature challenge. And that has already happened locally. I don't know what group was involved with that. I'm not saying they were doing things wrong. I think they were actually one of the credible ones, but
we don't know. There's a lot we don't know about that one yet because we just heard about that.
If you're going to put somebody's name and face out there and make allegations like that, I mean,
you better have some actual fucking proof.
Yeah, you'd think they would. I mean, for as much as they cry about, if we speculate about something or whatever, and then they're there, oh, that's going to be a great catch. Got him,
The salamanders are coming to get you.
Well, see, and I almost wonder, because from what that other, the family member had indicated on that post they had earlier, it's almost like Paul, as the decoy, just says stuff Because they're claiming that he never even informed them that it was supposed to be a minor. So I mean, right there, that's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. It doesn't matter how much dirty shit they said if you weren't actually posing as a minor. That's how the hell are you a pedophile? You know, it's just it's
Exactly.
stupid. But the way he just runs this fucking, because like whenever Crazy Chris said earlier, well, APH we're going as strong as we ever had, and I thought, yeah, and you have to drive further than you ever had to find people that believe you.
Yeah.
It's
And
like,
even that's dwindling quickly.
yeah, yeah, Kylie, if you want to call in, go for it, or anybody, we can. Unavailable.
You're fine.
I think we missed
Yeah.
Miss George's call here. Hang on. Let me see if I can call him back.
I absolutely agree with your comment, Kelly. Because that is a lot. There's so much that can go wrong so quickly with that.
Yep, absolutely. Trying to get George here.
Yeah, it's the old man.
Oh, brace yourself, comment section.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, man?
The old man's calling in. I'm old and I'm a heavy smoker, so what the hell? This guy, Paul, this non-marine, non-law enforcement guy, he's just one of thousands of these guys. They're trying to get fame without doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Simpson, right?
Yep.
Simpson's still wearing his constable's uniform, which was not issued. That he got bought it himself. He's got military-style ribbons on this constable's uniform. I didn't see any B's for valor, but I did. He does have a couple of these ribbons, but he's just a piece of shit. You know, you do that, and when I was chasing him down, and you popped on the radar, you were a godsend on this stuff because everything you gave me was dead on, real, and true.
Yeah.
Right? And I was able to do a little more research, like calling his place of work in West Virginia. And but the reason I wanted to call in about Simpson in particular was I heard this yesterday that he was devastated that he lost,
Mm-hmm.
and not by the margin, but that he didn't actually win in a landslide. He thought he was going to win that thing going away, and in one precinct he got one vote.
That's one more than none.
Yeah, but yeah, and he was a pathetic candidate because all he could claim was a false law enforcement background,
Mm-hmm.
stolen valor claiming he was in the military, and
Well, and he
that
tried
was
to
pro-Second
he tried to
Amendment.
slip that stolen valor in at the last minute there too, and you just so happened to be there.
Yeah, I hurt my neck snapping it around. I was going out for smoke. And then, your buddy Reader, I know you love that guy. He finally came in and responded to our questions about, his lack of integrity, his lack of ethics, blah, blah, blah. And he did what any typical politician will do.
Mm-hmm.
He gave us the mumble mouth and didn't explain anything. So we just got more concise with the questions, get tighter and tighter. And lo and behold, he had never responded to our page. And lo and behold, up pops this alter ego, not Steven Yetter, but a new one, who's not as menacing as Yetter, because, Yetter's a tough guy.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is a hairdresser from Baltimore. So that's not as menacing, But these guys just don't have a clue how to be decent human beings. And then they want to run the counties and, get in the Senate.
Well, they think they can just get these elected positions and just fuck off and still get paid is basically what it comes down to.
Sure. Well, Simpson's only real reason for running is he needs a retirement.
Yep.
he has no income. He's flush with cash right now, but he has no job and he has no retirement.
Well, that's we're trying to
He's
figure out
57 years
how
old.
Paul's paying his bills because I guess I've heard he left or he's no longer at the Bedford County Prison, is my understanding, and he wasn't there very long. So I don't know what he's doing other than maybe he has an OnlyFans or something. But
No. Why would you say that though?
some people in there like
No,
fat
just
feet pics.
stop.
Like,
Ew. Thank God we already had dinner because I would have straight lost my appetite. Anyone who's eating, I'm so sorry.
all right, George, we're gonna see if we can get any other callers in here. But thanks for calling in tonight. All right, man.
Thanks.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
I love George.
Oh yeah,
He always has a good point to make as well.
Yeah. So yeah, 412-440-3484 for you Bedford County people. That's 41-24-40-3484. Does Kylie want to call in?
I don't know.
I thought she did, but I mean that's fine either way. But yeah, what he's saying is 100%. These guys, I don't understand where they get these egos from because they've never really done anything. And everything's fake credentials, falsified. I mean, I found an article from I think it was like 2014, and Ted Simpson actually came down to Berkeley, West Virginia, and somehow because there was this controversy. Like I said, just go to the blog, the WordPress page, and read. Everything's in there. But he had, I guess, a fake badge or an honorary sheriff's badge or something from this guy out in Indiana, and there was this whole thing, and somehow he used these credentials to get hired at Berkeley because there are pictures of him in a police uniform in Berkeley. But then you look in the newspaper article, and he ends up getting charged with a felony for defrauding the government because he used fake credentials. And of course, you can't ever find any dispositions on how this stuff, but somehow he just doesn't have a record, And then there was the ATF thing where he had like 400 violations or something, and anybody else would, that'd be like 40,000 years in jail or something, I think. But it's just insane, the shit that they get away with. And Paul's the same way. And there's some things I really have to question is if he's making some of these reports that he is law enforcement, why hasn't he been charged? I mean, I understand you guys probably don't want to deal with him, and I don't blame you. But like I said, at some point, if this shit keeps going on, somebody's going to end up dead. I guarantee
Especially because the crowd that they're drawing, the people that they're drawing like crazy. And this other guy, the information that he's spreading that is so false, nothing is true. And the way it's blowing it so out of proportion, he's going to get someone really hurt.
Yep. And that's the thing, too. You put these people out there, they're pedophiles, whatever. They see where their house is, all this shit. I mean, crazy cries about getting doxxed, which, by the way,
we have a phone call.
Never actually happened.
Hit the button.
Button. I got to turn it up here. BDTR Live, what's on your mind? Hello. Nope, guess I gave up.
I guess. Kylie says she doesn't have anything particular to say tonight. You don't have to. You can just call in to talk if you want.
Let's talk about Altoona Pizza. I think we had more comments from that than we ever had before. Like, who would have thought?
Pizza.
Fucking Altoona. Well, it's controversial. That's why.
Well, that and,
Can't even call it pizza. It's an abomination. Yeah, it's just.
My grandmother would roll in her grave. Oh, God love you, Grandma.
Yeah, it's.
Her Sicilian heart would weep.
But see, and that's
there you go, crazy. You want to say that Kylie's not a real Italian. Go after my family name.
What the hell is Crazy? Hopkins that's Irish.
I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure that's Irish. She would have been shacking up with the black and tans in Northern Ireland. She would have been doing. God save the Queen. Yeah, fucking fake Irish.
Mm-hmm. The way Ireland just partied for like a full 48 hours when the Queen died, though. we want to go controversial, let's talk about it because like they got lit. The way TikTok lit up with the amount of people are like, the Queen's dead. Going to the pub. Shit's going to get lit.
Well, I mean, it really was during the.
We got an anonymous call
the
coming
trouble.
in.
Oh boy. Oh. BDTR live. What's on your
They hung
mind?
up already.
Oh yeah. What the hell?
It was probably the first person. They realized that they didn't put it anonymous.
Yeah.
Which one of Crazy's posts? Because there was multiple. She was quite unhinged throughout the day.
Which one of what?
Crazy Chris's posts.
Oh, that's.
Shitty was asking what it was about.
It was the one that was about a video that wasn't posted. It was a screenshot of a video, and she just kept doubling down on stupid, which you know, that's her MO. That's fine.
Yeah. And technically, oh yeah, and not only that, like if you really look at it, it looks like she's not even actually on that person's property. It looks like she's actually more on like the easement on the side of the road.
Well, I looked at the map, and yeah, that part of the property is like super.
Well, it's just
close
like
to
the
the
fence,
road.
and like I'm pretty sure you can actually see like a piece of pavement down in the one corner.
That's the thing. So okay, so she wants to. Oh, no trespassing. Where's the no trespassing sign? It's on the gate. Okay, so it's understood that that's the no trespassing area. That's the
Don't pass the gate.
Exactly.
She
And you still have public easement to
Yeah.
deal with. You still have reasonable expectation of privacy. I mean, there's all kinds of shit you can get into. And she's just, no, you're not. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's laughable. And if you do go make a report about it, guess what? I already posted what's going to happen to you. So that's the middle too. And actually, I think there's another false reports to law enforcement that's a M1. Pretty sure there is.
We're still waiting to see if this call is coming at all, honestly, because I've been watching it kind of like a hawk since I realized it's not like vibrating or anything, and I don't know. Anonymous, do you want to call back in? Line's open, floor's yours. Did you get cold feet?
Keep it up. I'm going to take the microphone out to the garage and let the cricket go.
Oh my god, no. I don't know how that thing's still alive,
I
but
don't-
like it greets me every morning.
So this is what kills me. Okay, so like Randy had a fucking conniption, Bedford County
Lord.
Fake Press, about the cricket thing. I think some other people did too. It's like, it was a joke for one. Okay, I'm not like, oh, you're a pussy because you didn't respond right away. Like, I work for a living. I understand not everybody can just sit on the internet, troll the internet all day like Crazy Chris can. But then when I made the video basically going after Randy, the satire video, then like apparently Paul got super butthurt over it. So it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I think me just existing pisses people. Like if I start breathing too heavy, they're, oh, lawsuit.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I mean, if Crazy Chris is going to sue us, and this goes for Ted the Ped too, right? How many times? I mean, guys, that's where the whole salamander liable thing came from. Because Ted Simpson, you know, the greatest litigator of our time, gets on George's page and says, "I'm going to sue you for libel." Now, to his credit, at least he has an understanding of the difference between slander and libel. But he's still a fucking idiot, and that's why he. And I called him out on it. It's probably still on the page if you go look somewhere. I can't see it because Ted blocked me a long time ago.
Shocker.
But yeah, I called him out, and something along the lines of like, you know, you're such a fraud. It's libel, not liable. And he still left it there. Like he could have at least edited his comment. I mean, even Crazy knows how to do that.
Yeah, like 16 times in a row within less than 2 minutes. Like, oh,
You know, I was thinking, I wonder if she's gonna have to start another GoFundMe for like keyboards because she probably wears them out pretty quick with her like.
Oh, apparently Miss Mary Smith said that apparently being with your family is one of the lamest excuses on earth that you didn't call in at that time. You know, for a group that's claiming that you want to defend pedophiles,
Okay.
or sorry,
Okay.
defend children.
I
slip of the word there.
gotta come back for that. So, since we know Mary Smith is Crazy Chris,
Yeah.
I could understand why you say that because you don't have you don't have your parents are gone, you don't have any kids, you don't have a husband, you don't have a boyfriend, you don't have anybody that gives a shit about you. So I understand why you'd think that way. See, I can get inside your head and see why you look at the world that way. For those of us who have families, well, I guess that's not true for all of us because like Paul doesn't give a shit about his kids.
Yeah.
But for
those
those of
you
us,
that actually give a shit about your family.
yeah.
y'all know how it is, especially with us living where we do and where they live where they do. We don't get to see them very
I
often.
don't get to see them very often. Yeah.
And like, I'm super lucky. I adore my in-laws. I got so lucky. Not only is my husband wonderful, like my in-laws are great. I lucked out like 100% on this one. So like, I love when they visit, and as does our daughter, because we get to talk to your mom for about 2 minutes, and then she gets drugged into the room,
Yeah.
and we don't see her for the next several hours because our daughter's room is her room. What she does in her room, it's her room. If she wants to leave it a mess, that's your room. You got to sleep in there. Okay.
And how
You know what I expect from the rest of the house to keep certain things clean? You do what you want in your room.
I don't even
Godspeed.
remember the last time my brother was home because I keep trying to get him to come
Yeah.
visit, but he's too cool for us.
He's living his best life. I mean, Kylie, if you want to call in, I guess Anonymous got cold feet. And if they call in the middle, we'll just say, sorry, see you later, and hang up real quick.
I think literally everyone that doesn't live in Pennsylvania is living their best life.
Yeah.
That's my advice to everybody. If you can get out, do it.
Yeah. I was adamant. I was not letting us stay there. That was one of the first things I think that I really got super adamant about with you. I was like, we're leaving. I'm not asking. I'm telling you, we're leaving.
Well,
we're not
see,
just moving out of Altoona. We're leaving the state. We are leaving.
I bought that house
Here
in
Somebody's telling. It might be. I don't know.
BDTR Live. What's on your mind?
Hi, friend.
Well, hi.
Hi.
Welcome to the show. What's on your mind?
I don't have anything to say. It's Kylie.
Oh,
The audio sounds slightly different when you call in this way versus the.
well, see, and that's
Yeah.
that's why I try and do all the interviews because for whatever reason, Facebook Messenger does seem to have slightly better call quality, and it does change the voice and everything. So
Oh, really?
A little bit. You sound just different enough that I was like, I think that's
honestly,
Kylie.
I thought that video call sounded really good though.
It really did. It came across nicely.
Oh.
But yeah.
So.
Crazy shit just keeps on getting crazier, huh?
Yeah, and then some. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I'm pretty certain at least two of those families are going to be filing something, probably at least a cease and desist, if not a lawsuit. So
I say absolutely should.
Well,
Like, sorry.
I know the one family, their first goal is to file a cease and desist because that's usually like step one.
yeah, that's just the
And-
process.
Yeah, like that's what their lawyer wants them to do first. So.
Or just take 3 years and compile all this evidence.
Yeah.
I got my evidence.
Right.
I bet Crazy Chris has as much evidence in her folder as that time Paul showed up with the empty folder. I got the chat right here.
I just forgot what I was gonna say.
It's been a long day.
Oh, that
Mhm.
was one of the things. I know, like, one of the people I talked to, I did tell them, like, their, like, statute of limitations on the time frame for it is they have a good while
Yeah.
because they were stressed about, the financials of it because getting the lawyer is a few thousand to get through everything. And I was like, well, you have a good bit of time. Like, it's not like you have to file things within, like, 3 months,
And a lot of attorneys will at least meet with you on a consultation for free. And most, I don't
Well,
know.
they
Okay, I could
did.
be
That's-
wrong. I could be wrong on
That's
most.
where, like,
but-
yes, like they've met with lawyers, some of the people I've spoke to, and that's where it's like when it becomes like an ongoing case, like if it gets continued and things like that, because let's be real, it
everything gets continued at least 5,000 times because, you showed up, you took time off work, you got there in time, you did everything, you crossed the T's, dotted the I's, and magically, somehow, someone else effed it up, and now, we gotta continue it. I hate the court system.
Yeah.
Well, so did we figure out was that like Crazy trying to call in and she just got like first she revealed her number and then she got cold feet when she went anonymous?
I don't know. I'm gonna
Oh,
look
does
at
it
the number.
show you
later.
a number the first time?
It did, and I plan on looking at least what the area code is.
Well, we don't know. I mean, who knows? Could have been somebody trying to tell me about my car warranty.
It could have been 1,000 things at this point. I don't know. But this is a heads up to everybody. We don't leave this phone on through the week. Like, so if you want to call in and like leave a voicemail, we'll check it eventually. But like, if you expect us to pick it up through the week and then want to bitch about if we don't pick it up throughout the week, here's the heads up.
Yeah, through the
we have
week-
lives. We're busy. We work.
through the
We
week.
got shit
Just
to do.
yeah, just message the page. That's the
Yeah.
quickest way for us to get back to you.
But-
Calling.
I also want to, put out publicly again that I am not any other anonymous pages.
Right.
I'm still Kylie.
Well, yeah, I
We
get-
love you for that,
commenting.
Kylie.
I get so sick of that. Everybody gets blamed for being like 10 different pages or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, you can just tell from the writing styles, it's not the same people. I mean, obviously, I created the Born Diviglia page just because it was too good not to.
Yeah, that one's funny.
Because I took Crazy Chris's idea of having, all these fake accounts and talking to yourself. And then I figured, well, I'll create some controversy between myself, create an adversary because I don't see her doing that because she doesn't have the balls.
Nah,
Well, maybe she does. You know what? Maybe she's transitioning. It's 2023. She can be the man she always wanted to be.
Exactly. Be whoever she wants to be, the best version of herself, whatever
Yeah.
that may be.
We're not judging. Just do something besides sit on the internet all day and
harass
back
people.
Paul Diviglia. Like that's of all the fucking people you could pick, why? I don't.
Who else could tolerate her?
I don't know. Well, and what are the chances? Like literally, the Bedford County Pred Hunters is around for like 2 days, and hey guys, here's our Cash App. You don't have to donate, but just do it of your own free will. They worded it like some weird way.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's not a nonprofit donation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's weird too that they're from Bedford, and then Bedford County Free Press is all of a sudden
Yeah.
all about APH again,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
then all the catches are in, Mifflin County, which is not Bedford, like it's a different area, but
Yeah.
Completely different
Paul
area.
found that Mifflin County is working with him right now because it's far enough away
Mm-hmm.
until they suddenly start to catch on to him, and they're not going to work with him.
Well, once I get the Paul Diviglia
Oh.
files complete, there's going to be one nice little link you can send everybody. Like, hey, by the way, this is Paul. Ask him about his felony.
I need to look at a couple things. I might know some people out in Mifflin
Well,
County
and
still.
here's another thing too. So, because he's real stupid about getting the nonprofit. That makes no sense to me because I mean, there's a ton of advantages to being a nonprofit. Like people can donate to you and it's tax deductible. If they're just giving you money, that's not tax deductible.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand why anyone in that situation wouldn't have some kind. And honestly, like when they're doing this shit and they're out and they are putting themselves in harm's way, whether Paul's smart enough to figure that out or not.
No.
And it's almost like at some point, if he doesn't have insurance on these people, some type of insurance, like and something happens, he's probably opened himself up to a lawsuit there too.
But he doesn't give a shit about the other people. He just
No,
cares about
like
the
he
limelight.
uses all of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I said, like, when I see this guy from Bedford, part of me is like, I can see this guy getting burned from a mile away. But somebody else commented on your post and said, they already tried to warn him. Well, then, that's on him.
And that's what I was saying to you earlier. Like, we present the information.
Yeah.
What you do with it is what you do with it. We don't tell anybody what to think. We give you the info, and what you do with it's what you do with it.
No.
He just happens to be a fucking
anybody
retard with it at the moment.
anybody that wants to call in is more than welcome. And I have a feeling probably that one that called in and hung up is probably, look, I tried to call, they wouldn't take my fucking call. Ugh." We don't do that shit. Okay,
No,
if you
it
want to call in,
disconnected.
call in. I'll talk to anybody. I'm not going to
Well,
play
I
these
was-
games.
I was hoping Guido would call. Randy's brother.
Well, he said he was going to.
He
but-
said he was going to. He left us a lovely voicemail informing us
Well,
that he was going
he
to.
did, and then he I don't know if he blocked the page or what, but like all his comments disappeared. So I'm assuming because we didn't block him.
No. I think the only person we've
Oh.
blocked in recent history, and I know we didn't really explain because I didn't think it needed an explanation. The only one we've blocked really, I think, was Crazy, and that was just because.
Well, and
know,
I did explain. I put a big post on the page.
yeah, because
about
it's
that.
bullshit. We don't condone anybody coming onto our page and
Yeah.
literally harassing other people commenting. We welcome people to have debates. We welcome a little bit of arguments, but keep it classy, folks. Don't
Yeah.
go and start calling their workplaces. Don't post their
Yeah.
addresses. Don't. There's certain rules that I feel like we all kind of have a mutual understanding of, but apparently she didn't, and was continuously just slapping this stupid shit down. So
Well, and the real kicker is it was all over Paul because Paul
Yeah.
didn't want to do things the right way. Well, fuck the rest of you, you're all pieces of shit. Like, really? Really? That's your argument. I mean,
Yes, that's the hill she's dying on. When I put my post out there, it was just to tell people what this quote unquote organization he was running is.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and like
And
I said,
now here
when-
we are 4 months later. In my mind, every day when more stuff comes in, I'm like, how did we get here?
well, and like I said, I put your post because at the beginning I wasn't sure what to believe because I didn't realize who he was. So I had put your post out. His whole video was on there, and I watched the video, and honestly, I'm like thinking to myself, like, dude, you're not really helping yourself out with
No.
the but whatever. And then, like I said, when I remember, oh, that's a fake Marine guy, because I was talking to a guy last night. I guess he used to run Altoona Confessions, and he supposedly at one point he had pictures of Paul in like his uniform that he got off of eBay. And I guess they got put. I remember Altoona Confessions was a real big hit back in the day.
Speaking of more shenanigans, I don't know if you saw someone on my personal page today said that he is trying to apply to Tyrone's fire department.
Well, I'm sure somebody from Tyrone's probably gonna. Well, I know there was somebody in the comment section earlier that knows pretty much all the firefighters. So if you're still in there, spread the word.
That if anyone's listening, he's coming for Tyrone. Oh, and what Terry just said about the agencies. Yeah, there's a couple of people that thought that he's referring to them as agencies.
Well, he does, and
he
I
refers to
don't.
them by anything other than what they actually are. Kind of like how he addresses himself as anything but what he truly is.
He wants to sound official, but he can't even file the fucking paperwork for the 501c3. That says it all right there.
He's applying for the apparently to be in the fire department in Tyrone.
Well, so what sense does that make? He lives out in Roaring Spring.
Because
How's he going to respond to
Well,
calls?
that's
That's
He's
what
like
not
a
going to
to
respond
me.
to calls. He just wants to be able to say and put on the freaking song and dance, and then take his pictures and post his clout.
I'm a firefighter and I'm helping kids.
He makes me sick.
and he probably hasn't been banned from that fire department yet.
Yet. Keyword.
Yeah, if you have to shop around that much to find places to supposedly go after pedophiles and join fire departments, like there's something wrong.
Doggo. Excuse me, I'm trying to stop our dog from deciding to walk underneath the wheels of our slidey chairs because, she wants lovin's and she needs to wait a little bit.
Dad, the podcast is only supposed to go an hour. It's like she
It's not-
knows.
she does. It's routine. I have never in my life, like I've been around so many dogs in my life. Like I adore dogs. I love dogs. And for the most part, dogs love me. Unlike some people.
Yeah.
But like this damn dog, I don't even have to look at what time it is. Like within 15 minutes of him getting home, she is at the door, sitting, waiting, watching. Super, super aware. She can be in a dead sleep snoring and suddenly will bolt upright when it's about the time and be waiting at the door. And I always look and I'm like, okay, it's about, oh, hey, Maddie, can you go kill that really big spider over there?
I was going to point that out earlier, but I figured
Why?
it's best to just leave it alone for now. I'll
One
get
thing.
it.
Thank you.
Yeah, honestly,
I'm a baby about
Oh,
spiders.
no.
Yeah, I told you what happened the other day, didn't I, Kylie? With my nightmare fuel.
I think possibly.
Okay, I'm going to share it with the
See
group
what
to end this on a light
Katie
note.
just says.
We live in the middle of effing nowhere in the woods, so obviously you're going to get some creepy crawlies in the house. I have come to terms with that. Small spiders I can deal with. Now, when it's the middle of the night and it's dark as shit, and, I'm half asleep trying to walk back to my room to go to sleep, I see this spider in the hallway, and I'm like, oh, that's no big deal. We have one of these electric bug zappers. I see it, I hit it, and I'm like, okay, done. No, it was something out of a fucking nightmare. Because suddenly that thing exploded into a million little baby spiders. I scream. He's asleep in the freaking couch. This man can sleep through anything, by the way. When he's out, he is out. I'm literally screaming his name to come and help me, and he isn't moving. So I am now having to jump into, thank God, my boot switcher right there. And I'm stomping and smacking at the same time, trying to kill all these freaking little baby spiders. Like, I wanted to, throw up and cry at the same time. I honestly was crying, killing them all. Worst thing that's ever happened to me, I think. I hate freaking spiders so much. So yes, after this, you are going to definitely kill that thing. I'm going to pull my feet up, and I'm not going to move from this chair until it's dead.
Yeah, he disappeared already. So.
I know. I know. I love you, but
Go
I'm a
get him,
baby.
Maddie.
Yeah, I'm a baby when it comes to spiders. But anything else on this planet, I will fight head on with no fear. No, I don't care. Spiders, nope. Nope.
All right. Well, I think we wrap it up here. So
Yeah, because you have a spider to kill, and
Yeah.
I'll talk to you guys later.
it was good to
all
talk
right.
to you, Kylie.
yeah, thanks for calling in.
All right. Bye.
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 All right, guys. So hopefully you learned something or whatever. Oh, look. Yeah, I had to name him Chris Ann. He's not very fucking smart.
No, he's not.
All right, guys. We'll see you Saturday. Until
No,
next time.
No, hang on. This Saturday, I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, yeah, never
we
mind.
will unfortunately not be on this Saturday because we have a wedding to attend.
Well, we might, though. We might go live.
We might. But if we don't, that's why. We will try. But if we're not, it's because we're at a wedding. And that
Yeah.
takes precedence. Sorry, y'all. But
Yeah,
okay.
but-
It's literally coming toward us. Kill it. It's definitely... Okay, it's officially Chris Ann.
I wish I could just... All right. Till next time, guys.